had a tough childhood. It was tough to live with my father. He was a pretty totalitarian environment, you know. And when I turned 17, I hit the road. Quit school, grabbed my backpack, and I grabbed my camera and my little scanner, and I started walking down the railroad tracks from Duncanville into downtown Dallas. Downtown, and I got a job at a catering house, loading catering trucks that day, that night. And I slept in the guard shack, and I hung out in made a little tree house over off of Good Latimer, and I just I guess I lived on the streets for about 6 months. It was a little tough sometimes, a little scary sometimes, but I was working constantly. Then I bought a bike, and then I got an apartment, and I met a sweet young girl, and I got married, and
she moved in the treehouse?
No, we got an apartment.
Okay.
Would it be without you?
So I took a part-time job at a pet store, because I had this thing for aquariums. A lady walks into the pet store and she says, "I'm sick and tired of my aquarium. I'm tired of fussing with it. I'll pay you so much money to come to my house after work and you clean up my aquarium for me." Like, I thought this would be a great opportunity, again, to freelance and start my own little business, cleaning aquariums. And it took off. It really worked out well. Aquariums kind of took off into the pond business. I was getting calls for people asking me to fix their water gardens and add a filter to their pond, because it's the same chemistry, aquariums and ponds. I did a home and garden show at Market Hall. Took Best to Show my first time. Had a beautiful display there, and the phone started ringing. And from the aquariums that were up here and the ponds were down here, it just completely switched. And it just took off. And we were building 3 or 4 ponds a week. And eventually it led into the landscape business. I started designing things for folks. So it jumped from ponds into landscape. And then from landscape into outdoor kitchens. And then into lighting. And then I started writing articles about ponds. And they were getting published around the nation. And I was on a buzz. I was having a blast.
Would it be without
I'm a photojournalist. I would never call myself a photographer. Don't ask me to do a wedding.
Okay.
Don't base your wedding on my ability to take a good picture.
Unless the cars are
Unless it's on fire.
Yeah.
When I was a teenager, I got a camera, a real camera, 35 millimeter. I was so proud. And I got it to take pictures of trains. I was a railroad fanatic. And I'm taking pictures of trains, having a great time. And there was an accident down the street. And I ran over there and took pictures of this car accident. And I'm just standing around watching the fire trucks and such, and this lady comes out of her car and she says, "I'll give you $100 if you give me copies of this, because I want to turn it into my insurance company."
Wow. I
was 16 years old. $100 for these pictures? You got it. So I got her name and number, and I got her the pictures, and I thought, the light bulb went on over my head, and I went, this could be a concept. This would be fun. And it took a while for it to develop. I just kind of kept it on the sidelines and always kept my camera around and always kind of kept watching for trouble. And it was exciting, you know. I'm the last guy you want to see on one of those scenes.
Because?
You're not invited. This is the worst moment in somebody's life. In a lot of cases. Accidents, that's where you really have to be careful. We're taking a picture of the scene. We are not interested in a picture of bodies. And it's interesting because I'll show up at a scene of a burning home. I'll capture the photograph of the house burning, the firefighters in action, the equipment and apparatus. It shows how everything is going down, the training, the method to it. When it's over with and my picture makes the front page of the paper, all of a sudden I get a phone call from the homeowner. "Thank you so much for capturing these images of my house burning." I go to bed at night, my pants, my socks, my shirt, everything's laid out alongside the bed. The scanner's on. At 2 o'clock in the morning, the tones go out, got a big fire. I'm dressed and out the door within 3 minutes. And I know where I'm going. You've always got to be prepared. Always. That's one of the biggest things about being a photojournalist. You're a fly on the wall. You get in, you get your images, you never get in the way. You don't want to be another thing a first responder is having to worry about on the scene. I remember them all. You remember them. When you're on the scene, especially at a fatality, you know it the second you arrive. You may not see it, but you know it. It's in the air. And it's creepy. I've always kind of branched off, but always came back to the source.
And the source is the camera? The source is the fish?
Creativity.
The creativity.
The creativity, off the beaten path. I always wanted to do what I wanted to do. I've been really poor, and I've done pretty well. And it's gone back and forth, but I've just always charged ahead with what I wanted to do. And so far, it's paying off.
You're in the good. You're in one of the peaks.
I'm on a peak right now.
Yeah. That's good.
I'd have a third job if I thought I could make a living playing with model trains.
That's called a hobby.
Well, my
You can't make a
photography
living at
business.
it.
My photography business was a hobby. My aquarium maintenance business was a hobby. If you really love something, you got to figure out a way to get paid to do it.
If you think you have a story to tell, send me an email. But I have to tell you up front, it better be good. I hope you...